And most people, the average person, will say peak age for men is 20s. It's not the 20s. Let's dive into this one. And the average person, the average man will say, oh, their 20s was their best, their peak. And why do they say that? They say that because by the time they've hit 30, they look like crap. They've just been eating terribly. They haven't been looking after their fitness, skincare, all these different things. They may be losing their hair as well. They don't look after that or try and prevent it. All these different things add up over time, so they get to a point where they just look super unattractive. They look like crap. They're overweight. They got no drive. That's why their earlier years are better. But the thing is, that's an average person. That's the average man. Not every man is like that. And over time, when they get to 30s, with all those bad habits built up, they look like crap. They got no drive. Their mindset is just terrible. They start to panic then, and they work on like the women's time frame. You know, women, as they get older into their later 20s, their biological clock is, they got that to worry about, so they want kids. But that is not the same for a man. But the average person will get so scared and fearful because he now looks like crap because he doesn't look after himself. Oh, I'm not going to be able to find a woman. Oh, I got to settle down now. Well, they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Oh, all my friends have settled down. They're getting families. They're getting married. They're having children. Start to panic. And here's the thing you don't realize. You probably hear this a lot on different videos online. I don't think men peak till like 34, 35, 36. Those ages, as long as you've put in work and actually looked after yourself, took care of your life and loads of different areas within your life. You look after your fitness throughout your 20s. What does that mean? You actually build up that muscular frame as before in your 20s, you may have had like a skinny frame. You looked awkward, a bit spotty. How is that peak? That is not peak. But once you reach up into your 30s, then you've built that muscular, lean physique, that masculine physique, that awe-inspiring physique, a physique you're proud of. You look in the mirror and you're proud of it. You've looked after skincare. Back in the day, like in your 20s, a lot of people say, oh, skincare, who do you think, oh, that's all girly. It's not girly, okay? To look after your skin. The skin is like the biggest organ on the body. Look after it. You don't want to look like a saggy ball sack in your later years, okay? You can look better in your 30s than you did in your 20s. As well as that, your career. In your 30s, you're trying to figure stuff more out in your 20s. So in your 30s, you have more resources, more money, more disposable income. You're not as broke as if you're in your 20s. And all these different areas add up over time. You're more grounded. You actually know who you are. You spent some time to figure yourself out. You dress better as well. Dress more like a man than a boy. And where do we see this a lot? We see this a lot in Hollywood. Like Hollywood is like the biggest example. Like these guys don't get like these big leading men roles until later on in life. For example, Daniel Craig, 007, James Bond, Casino Royale. How old was he then? 37, 38 years old? Why wasn't he early 20s? If that's the peak to play button. No, it's not. More mature. He had that muscular physique. He walked out in the water. You saw his frame. Displaying that confidence, that all-roundedness, got his life figured out. Who else do we see? We see Chris Evans, Captain America. When did he get that role? I'm pretty sure he got that role when he was 29 years old. And he played Captain America, the first Avenger, and then the other Captain America films, and then went on to play Captain America for like a decade in the Avengers, well into his 30s. But he got cast at 29, going into his 30s. Leading man role. Again, who else do we see? We see Henry Cavill, Superman, Man of Steel. He didn't get that role until he was around 27, 28, 29, going up into his 30s. Then he played Superman in the Justice League, Batman v Superman. And then he also went on to get the Witcher role, like that massive role that he loved to play as well. I know the series ain't too good now, and he's left for the new season. But you can see he got those leading man roles later on, into his early 30s. Another example as well is Glenn Powell. You see Glenn Powell in The Dark Knight, looks a bit awkward. Yes, he's playing like a finance guy. But in other films as well, in his earlier years, he just looks awkward, looks a bit bloated. Hasn't looked like he hasn't really figured stuff out. It's not until he hit like 30 years old into his early 30s, he had that body transformation. He looks fantastic. He's a leading man. I think he secured that role in Top Gun. Is it Top Gun Maverick? As a character, but then after that, he's now become a leading man. He's in that new film Twisters, also in a film with Sydney Sweeney. Looks great now, but he didn't have that when he was in his 20s. It's not until he reached his 30s, figured everything out, looked the part. Now he is the part in these films. And I believe this to be the case. You peak when you're in your 30s, 34, 35, 36. But the thing is, it's only if you've looked after yourself. If you don't look after your health and your fitness, if you don't look after your career, your confidence, the way you carry yourself, your groundedness, knowing who you are, the way you dress, if you don't look after all those different things, haven't been working on those things, then you won't peak in your 30s. It would have been in your 20s when you looked the most attractive, when you had nothing else. Just like the majority of people, because they just have terrible habits. But as long as you have good habits and you work on yourself, you will peak in your 30s. The thing is, most people just neglect their mind, they neglect their body, they see what everyone else is doing, seeing what their friends is doing, keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, my mate's got a new car, I've got to try and afford a new car. Oh, my mate's got a new house, I've got to try and put down a deposit on a house, to keep up with everyone, because, that's what everyone does. Oh, my mates are getting married. Oh, I need to find someone quickly. Panic stations, I need to find someone to marry, because I'm getting on now because everyone else is settled down. No, work on your own timeline. You don't have to be the same as everyone else. And besides, the thing is, women do have a biological clock. That's why they get more. I'll say they don't get weird later on, but they want to settle down earlier. They want to have children. When they get to that point, when they get to it at 28, 29, you don't have to do the same as a man, okay? You can keep on working on yourself, keep on learning and growing. You can settle down a bit later. You don't have the same biological clock. And guys, even just looking at myself, I'm the best I've been now compared to when I was 21, 22, 23, 24. I've got more confidence now. I look better now. Career is better now. All these different things. I've had better dating opportunities now than I did back then. It's like night and day, honestly. But the thing is, it's only because I've been working on these different areas of life. And is it easy? No, it's not easy. And is life fair? No, life isn't fair. But as long as you keep on pushing forward, learning, adapting, going through failure, going through rejection, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, but as long as you keep moving forward and improving yourself, you will peak more in your 30s than you ever did in your 20s. Hope this video brought you some value, guys. If you enjoyed this one, why not watch another one? I'm sure I'll enjoy it. You got this.